Tournaments in Jurassic World the Game are representations of the class divide that exists in the real world. Dominator League prizes are like opportunities that are only ever given to those wealthy enough to afford them, meaning the rich will get richer while the hard-working middle class must sell their souls or risk forever being stuck in Predator League. This divide threatens to drive a wedge in the player base, a wedge that prevents new players from progressing, a wedge that can kill the game outright, a wedge that can only be overcome by the ingenuity of the poor. Yeah, okay, I know what you're thinking. Nice intro, Soutonrak, but what the hell are you going to tell me in this video? Well, if I were to put it in more simple words, this video is going to be a tutorial about how to win tournaments in Jurassic World the Game. But first, let's get into what exactly is a tournament. Jurassic World the Game tournaments are weekly events that divide players up into 6 leagues: Hatchling, Prey, Survivor, Hunter, Predator, and finally, Dominator. Those in Dominator League, the top 1%, will win a super legendary creature, which they now unlock, along with large amounts of resources. This makes tournaments crucial for progress, as these super legendaries are not only strong standalone creatures, but can also combine to make some of the best hybrids in the game. That sounds amazing, I hear you say, but isn't all sunshine and rainbows? You see, tournaments get hard, and I mean hard. You can move up in the leagues by earning trophies, which come from winning battles. Each battle win will award you with roughly 30 trophies, and to reach Dominator League, you're going to want over 1,500. Not only this, you may find yourself facing up against max level rare or super rare hybrids, max level VIP creatures, and definitely max level super legendaries. Sounds scary, right? Well, don't fret. With the right strategies, we can easily finish in Dominator League with lower level creatures. Here's how. First, let's talk about your park. A lot of people may think you need max level hybrids or at least max level legendaries, but from my personal experience, it is actually possible to comfortably pull off this strategy with just a few level 10 VIP creatures, and maybe you can do it with even less. So it is likely completely possible for all of you to do this. With that out of the way, we can finally get into the tips. My first tip to winning tournaments efficiently is to battle efficiently. What does this mean, you ask? Well, it means not wasting your top order creatures on lower league battles, making light work of easier battles and making sure your trophy gains are always high. Now, I know I've said before that the average trophy gain per win is 30. This is an oversimplification, and in reality, trophy gains will depend on your team's overall strength compared to the opposition. If your team is weaker overall, you will get more trophies for winning, and vice versa if your team is stronger. Therefore, to be able to shred through the enemy team and have high trophy gain, we're going to need to build our early league teams like this. This team on screen has 2 level 1 commons, but opens with a high attack rare creature. This will make sure that you have one creature who is far superior to your opponents, which is going to be able to carry the battle. The 2 level 1 commons are going to balance your overall creature strength, making you appear to be weaker than your opponent to the game. This means that when you've finished absolutely demolishing that team of level 20 rares, you're going to earn yourself 40 trophies in a very short amount of time. This matters because, well, let's be honest, tournaments are boring. You wouldn't want to waste time on Survivor League or Prey League battles when your only goal is to finish in Dominator. Battling efficiently allows you to quickly get to Predator League, where our real challenge begins. So now you're in Predator League, and battles have ramped up significantly. You're constantly staring down the barrel of creatures just as strong as the ones you've put in, and this isn't even the top league. Winning battles from here on out is going to be all about optimal team building and a little thing we like to call the meat shield tactic. When making a team for a tournament battle, you need to consider the weakness system of the game. Well, we can't draft 3 carnivores since we might face 3 amphibians. We also can't draft one of each class, as our creatures are now outclassed by the opponents. So what is the plan? Well, the idea is to pick two opposite classes, ones that cover each other's weaknesses. Pair herbivores with amphibians and carnivores with pterosaurs. You will want something like this. What this ensures is that in the event of a weakness being present in the enemy team, you can simply sacrifice your first creature for the reserves points to take it out with that second creature, which has the advantage. Therefore, since much of our plan revolves around sacrificing the first creature, you will want to pick something with high health, even if it has low attack, so it can tank more hits. I personally would recommend some creatures that specialize in this role. Caprisuchus, Therizinosaurus, Edaphosaurus, and Enosaurus are some that come to mind. Next, your second creature, which I call the soft carry, should have balanced stats, as there will be scenarios where it will have to take on 2 or maybe even 3 enemy creatures. These are in the events where your 2 creatures of the same class are facing weaknesses. Finally, your third creature, the sweeper, should have as much attack as possible, even if this takes away from its health. If the sweeper is used, it will be at the end of the battle where you have turns to play with. Hence, worrying about tanking hits is unnecessary since it is possible to block instead. This is how a battle like this will go, from my point of view and narration. Here I picked 2 amphibians and a herbivore to cover for pterosaurs and carnivores. Even though this is a Predator League battle, the creatures I used were fairly weak due to me trying to save creatures. The enemy team is revealed here. This is when I stopped to think about how I will play out this battle. It was not looking too great for me, as the opponent's team had only herbivores and amphibians just like mine, meaning I could not find an advantage and was stuck with weaker creatures. Here, I decided that Dreadnoughtus will have to take out 1 creature to leave Diploceraspis in a 1v2, which was my best chance of winning. Therefore, my objective with Prinosuchus here is to get as many reserves as possible. I do this by making sure the creature stays alive with blocks. However, I won't take risks, so when I see the enemy not attacking at all, I decide to go for 2 reserves for the event that they went for all reserves. After a few turns, I was able to save 8 turns for Dreadnoughtus, and it was time to fodder off Prinosuchus. Dreadnoughtus was able to take out Bagoreptodon, and so I decided to fodder that off as well, just as I planned before the battle started. Now, until it goes down, Dreadnoughtus' only role is to do as much damage as possible, which I do by going for 4 reserves and 4 attacks every time. This chips away at Bumpy's health by about 200, which in this battle didn't make a difference but may have done in another one. Finally, Diploceraspis comes in, and it takes out Bumpy, leaving a 1-turn standoff with Stegoceratops to come. In this example, I gambled on a 50-50 and won, but it was thanks to that good strategizing and employment of the meat shield tactic that we even got to that position with much weaker creatures in the first place. So, now you know how to get through the early battles, and you know how to win battles in Predator League. But how do you win in Dominator League, where creatures are twice as strong? Well, I have good news for you, buddy. You won't ever need to participate in a Dominator League battle. All you have to do is maintain your spot near the top of Predator League consistently for the whole duration of the tournament. Then, on the last day, make your final push to 100th place in Dominator League. Tournaments are designed so that in the last 30 minutes, no updates will happen to the leaderboard, which means that if you've reached Dominator League by this time, congratulations on being in the top 1%. Now all that's left for you to do is to enjoy your super legendary creature.